Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Two Canadian losses yesterday, Call, and now they go up against juggernauts in Sweden, both Jones and Gushue. They have to turn it around.
Good morning. Can we just talk about coffee for a bit? Let's talk
Cheers.
happy guns.
Cheers,
And
Call.
cheers to you. It was a weird day yesterday. Watching Jennifer Jones and company and their loss, it just felt like they were swimming upstream.
Yeah.
And then we get to the night game, and Team Brad Gushue looked like they might be stuck in the quicksand a little bit, right from that second end oddity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Can I jump in there? Because one of the things we saw 16 years ago with Russ Howard is that sage advice in big moments. And people were commenting, Call, that might have looked like Gushue of old when he made that call early in the game. Against, did you like the shot call?
I did like the shot call, and it was just like, well, what went wrong there? How did that happen? So I think it was an end sheet. They were figuring out the ice in that spot. They don't know the rocks yet. I mean, you think of the catalog of information that both Jules Ochar and Jeff Thomas bring with the rocks and the binoculars and the knowledge. They always know exactly what the rocks are going to do. So this time they were figuring some of that out. So we saw it was a fine game and they played great and they clawed back. But, then we had the ninth end where you're like, okay, this is going to be something. And then it turned out to be a steal. So they just felt like swimming upstream for both teams a little bit yesterday. They played fine games, but we knew that coming in, didn't we? That you couldn't have that little tiny mistake because these teams, they pounce.
They pounced. They made Canada pay, and now it sets up a huge day. Like I said, both games today against Sweden.
Playing the Yellows, Team Sweden, Anna Hasselborg. Funny, I was watching Wayne Middaugh practicing yesterday with the team as coach, and I thought, isn't it funny that Middaugh is Canadian coaching the Swedes, and we have Swedish-born coaching the Canadian women. Just kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
Sweeping.
Hello to all the fans tuning in. Let us know. Soph is putting it up on the bottom of the screen. Let us know where you're watching from. Jam-packed show. We have Saskatchewan's own Craig McMorris giving us a snowboard curling call in the
Can't wait.
show.
We should try to do that for his sport. Be fun.
No, you can. I can't wait to see that.
Me too. Excited.
Why don't we get to the hot stove? Let's go straight to the booth to set up these next big, massive games. They're all big, aren't they? Good evening, Bruce, Mike, and Joe. Mike, full marks for Switzerland in that victory over Gushue.
Definitely. I think Colleen hit it on the head there. That second shot in the second end really was the difference. It was a 3-point swing, and I disagree with Colleen's agreement with the call in just a little bit, just with the weight. I don't think they thought it was missable. That's why they threw that kind of weight. They kind of looked, they always look at that, can it catch over here, catch over there? And I don't think they thought they could miss it. And that's why they threw that. It seemed like a reckless weight there, didn't think it through. And they could have just played a nose hit, don't forget, to get to as well. That was pretty easy.
Right.
So I think they just made it a little more complicated than they needed to. But as you said, there was Switzerland was pretty much flawless after that. You can't get two down. I don't know what Brad Gushue's stats are when he's two ahead early in the game, but he's winning 90% of the time, I'm sure. And Benoit Schwartz and Peter de Cruz much the same. So one little mistake can be the difference, and it doesn't take much with the top teams.
To the ageless Bruce, as you can see the comment at the bottom of the screen. Bruce.
I just want to say thank you, Stephanie. That's all I got tonight. That's a wonderful. Wow. I'm just going to let that settle in, and I might not even show up for the game. That's incredible.
She didn't say what age.
I think we all knew this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough for both teams. These fields are really good. I think to think they'd waltz through undefeated was a ridiculous assumption. So a little bit of adversity now, and I think greatness is always defined by how you respond when times are tough. And so you have two legendary Canadian skips who have been here many times before. I fully expect a rebound. It's unfortunate that rebound has to come immediately, though, against Sweden. That's all I'll say there. That's a tough rebound. So, yeah, I would say way too early for panic, but a little concern. I think both of those games were winnable, and they let them get away.
Mm.
And Joanne, what were you seeing on the ice? And especially, having played against these teams so recently at the last Olympics, especially.
You're muted, Joe.
Every time. My God. Maybe by the end I'll get it figured out. I think for the Jones team, Team Fujisawa, they played almost a flawless game. They had a few open takeouts that they randomly missed that let Jones claw their way back in. But the positive for them is that they weren't at their sharpest, and they still they had a chance in the 10th end to make it really interesting and just couldn't quite capitalize. So there were some mistakes throughout. There was a couple of missed sweeps. It looks like it's a little bit tricky out there with the paths and the patchiness. So I think that they probably had a good debrief in talking about how they need to throw the rock on those peels, try to puzzle out the draw weight. And like we said, it's early in the week. No one's going to go undefeated in this thing. And this team is super resilient. Whenever I've been at a Bondsfield and I see them end up in the C event early, like you still know they're going to make the playoffs. It's never even a doubt. They're great at grinding their way back in. And we saw that in that game today. They could have easily just kind of given up, but it went the full 10 ends, and it could have been interesting in that last end as well.
By the way, Joanne, you're allowed to make a mistake in broadcasting, but to the mute button, forgiven. Not nursing, you can't. Okay, just But Mike, Sweden's Anna Hasselborg hasn't. She dropped her opener, so she's maybe feeling pressure or.
Well, same. I don't think they're any more happy about playing Canada with one loss than Canada is about playing them. So I think always better to escape the losses. But look at that logjam at 1-1. So. Switzerland and the USA. Switzerland's looked very good, to be fair, and the US is, I think they've beaten China, ROC, and Denmark. So they kind of had a slow, easy. If any of the games are easy, they kind of had the easiest schedule out of the gate. So they've got a long road ahead. They've got to run the gauntlet now through all the top teams in the world, and Canada and Canada and Sweden, I said they're equally displeased with losing a game, but you just kind of have to take advantage of any mistakes you get. Both teams are going to be playing very tough, very hungry, so it should be a great battle.
I don't know who wants to jump in on this. I know we've talked so much about rock placement in mixed doubles and getting that rock in the right place early in the end. Yesterday, it just felt like Canada was chasing almost every end. Was that the sense you guys were getting as well? And obviously that has to change. Joe?
Yeah, I can only assume that it was tricky out there. There must have been just some speeds where the paths were just a little bit surprising. One thing I noticed with Team Gushue, though, was that they weren't communicating the same way we saw in the first two games. The first two games, they were, we need this back to hog split and this hog to hog, and it feels like this compared to draw for hammer. And I just didn't hear that conversation. Now, perhaps it wasn't making its way through the mics, but it just seemed a little bit quieter out there. And when it gets tricky, it's easy to kind of resort to that because you don't know. Right. But the only way you're going to be able to puzzle it out is if you share all the information and just try to claw your way into it and figure it out. We saw draw weight struggles in both of those games and for both teams. So knowing that it's going to be tricky, knowing you're going to have some misses, but it's finishing the game strong and figuring it out by the end of the game is what's going to make the difference.
It is always funny that the nature of the beast is the more you struggle, the quieter you get, and the more each of you becomes a little more of an individual as you try to figure out what your woes are. But Bruce, how does this, we know that Gushue loves the big moment, the big crowd. Jennifer loves the big moment when she made that great shot in the second end. She did that fist pump to no applause. Do you think that factors in that two of our greatest teams are used to playing in front of, big houses? I mean, all the curlers are facing sort of the quietness of this place, but the energy. I'm just wondering if you sense some of that.
If you're talking about those two in particular, I think both would tell you that as kids, each was really shy and reserved. And I think they come out of their shells in front of crowds. Gushue absolutely loves it. And Jennifer's a got a little bit of ham in her too, if you know what I mean. She likes to play to the folks in the stands. So, yeah, I'm sure they'd love to have a big full house that's responding to every. But they will figure it out. A bit of good news from today, from a curling history point of view. The game's been around a long time, and today Mike coined a new phrase for a shot. Benoit Schwartz throws the rock so hard that his shirt flaps. So if you throw it that hard from this point forward, it's officially called the shirt flapper. I got to credit Mike because it's a bit of curling history made today.
Well, yeah, you know. Trademark, thank you.
Congratulations.
Well,
that's usually when I get the producer saying, "You know, you're on television, right?" Yeah.
Well, speaking of coining new curling phrases and terminology, we're going to get Craig McMorris to call Jennifer Jones shot bodies in 2005 and Gushue's draw to win the Brier in 2017. So, Bruce, I expect there to be more new curling phrases coined today.
Yeah, please send me whatever he does. I need all the help I can get, and I'll steal. I will liberally steal with no problem.
And the Canadians are hoping to steal in both games against Sweden today. Have a great call. Both games so big, and I can't wait to watch you all guide us through it.
Great show, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, it's going to be a fun day. I mean, anytime Canada plays Sweden, it's an awesome match that we all look forward to. And Hasselberg and Nicodine, Nicodine especially, that team is flawless so far. And they look like they are enjoying everything about this moment. Everybody looks like they're enjoying everything, but they look really comfortable.
No doubt. Okay, Call. You know how excited I am about this whenever we get a Saskatchewan flair on the show. And I should point out that this is Craig's night off, and he is doing us a big one by joining us on That Curling Show, and he is in the house. Let's welcome Mr. Craig McMorris. Craig.
Good morning, or good evening, or good night, or wherever.
Good evening over here. Good morning to you over there. It is a true honor to be on the program. Huge fan of the show. Love everything that both of you have been doing. And I'm very, very honored.
First
How's a Saskatchewan boy not a curler, by the way?
I am a curler. I told my parents I was going to be on the show, and they were fired up. My dad was firing me facts. He said, it was Rick Folk the last time a Saskatchewan team won the Brier in 1980, and I was like, I'll try to work it in, Dad. I don't know if we'll have time for it, but here I am.
You just did. Outstanding. Speaking of Dawn, I don't know if you were ready for this, but we have a surprise for you, Craig. Sam McKeag out of CBC Saskatchewan sent us a clip from a long time ago of a very young Craig and Mark and Dawn. Let's take a look.
I'd like to become a professional wakeboarder and hopefully help them out in the future.
Hopefully we go big and we can make our own money off this.
I think they need to be a doctor or a lawyer, really. Not a politician.
Couple things here. That was actually at SaskTel Summer Invasion, was this wakeboard contest that we'd always do right in the center of Regina, beautiful lake, Wascana Lake. Yeah. And we'd do this wakeboard contest there all the time, and get a little news coverage there. And holy smokes, the hair. I can only say the hair. And also, I love my dad. I'm sorry we didn't become doctors and lawyers, but hey, we're doing okay.
You're doing okay, no doubt. Craig, how much fun are you having? Everybody is just embracing all that you do. I know you make it seem so effortless and fun, but you work so hard at your craft. What has this game's been like for you?
It's been an absolute blast. Honestly, I get to work with Rob Snook, who is an extremely talented veteran, has worked so hard, and we've had the pleasure of working together now for 8 years. Wow. And when you work together with somebody, you develop a rapport. And the rapport that Rob and I have is truly special. I can bounce anything off him. He can bounce anything off me. You two know, like when you're working with somebody you really trust, it allows you to go to different places. The other thing, too, that has been wonderful about this, especially on the snowboarding side, is the events have been, down to the wire. It's been the last rider on the last run. And there's nothing better when you have a good competition because it makes your job extremely easy. You're not trying to sell anything. You're just kind of talking about what happens. So that nice. Alongside with working with Rob and everybody at CBC is doing such a fantastic job. It makes my job extremely easy.
Very cool.
When you go out now as just for fun on a hill, what do you do? Do you look like me?
If I could only look as good, if I could only look as good as you, Colleen. So every single day of the winter is pretty much snowboarding or broadcasting snowboarding. I still have that side of my career where I'm in the backcountry and snowboarding in front of the camera and filming for movies, right? So this has just been a wonderful way of keeping relevant in the contest side of snowboarding, the side of snowboarding that maybe sees a little bit more viewership. So I stay relevant in the contest side, and then I still have my snowboard career in the backcountry and in the movies and stuff like that. So it has been fun.
We also try and stay relevant with our 7-Eleven updates, which I don't know if you guys can notice, but there's a light in this room that keeps going on and off. So I've got a Friday night light show over here.
Actually, you know what? That's a sign there's a ghost in there with you. So just honor that, okay? But to honor your 7-Eleven bits, this is a delicacy here in Beijing, and it's a marinated egg. And since this is my breakfast, I'm going to try to. Okay,
we're doing it live, Craig.
I was wondering, Colleen, have you tried it yet, or are you trying this for the first time on air?
No, I haven't. But everybody down in our snack room, if I could just.
Craig, this is like
okay, I got it out.
This is
got it out.
To get the edamame. She dropped the egg.
5-second rule.
It fell on the rule. Oh, please. I'm a mother. I got a minute rule. I mean, if this was on the ground with my dog hair at the house and the cat hair, I would still do this. It ain't going to kill me, is it? Okay. Now, what does it taste like?
Oh, my gosh, Colleen.
I know there's an egg in it, and you can see
it together.
The marinade around it kind of looks like it's a sausage. Okay, so you guys take it away.
Okay, Craig, while Colleen eats her marinated dropped egg.
Like a Scotch egg, kind of.
Woo!
Coffee.
Ooh. Did you hear how I was setting this up? That we're going to get I hope you thought we were going to get you to call something.
I love it. I love it. Can I reference back to the previous guest right before we get into this? I love the shirt flapper reference that Mike Harris dropped, because in snowboarding, when you're hitting a really big jump and you're going really fast in the jump, we always call that a jacket flapper, because you're looking at a big jump and you can hear your jacket start to flap. And I was like, that's the perfect reference. I love that. I'm here for it.
Who knew that curling and snowboarding had so many parallels? I mean, it's uncanny. all of these athletes so built for speed and agility. Okay, we're going to start with 2005 iconic shot. Schmerler did it first. Jennifer Jones, the light went off again. Jennifer Jones did it next in 2005, the in-off. So, Craig, that's the setup. You take it away. We're going to play it, and you're going to watch it, and you're going to call this thing and do your thing.
Okay. Can one of you help me be my co-host on this? Give me a little setup.
We'll chime in. We'll chime in. Okay, we'll chime in. Okay, let's roll the tape. All right, last rock, Craig. This is it. The shot to win the Scotties.
What is going through Jennifer Jones's mind as she releases that rock? I can only imagine. This is what dreams are made of, Devin. Colleen, can she do it? There's one, and there's two, and there's the brooms, and they're having a lot of fun. I don't know where to go with it.
One of the better shots. How many rotations on the rock, Craig?
Well, that's impressive, because it didn't look like it had enough curl. She added that 1800 element. That thing went around 5-6 separate times. You know what? It's a beautiful thing to watch somebody do what they're good at, and Jennifer Jones is really good at coming clutch under pressure. I'll tell you that for free.
I love it. I love it. And then 2017, Gushue needs a shot to win his first ever Brier in St. John's. There was all the pressure in the world. He needed to deliver the shot. All of Newfoundland and Labrador are watching. It's a draw. Let's roll. Here it is, Craig.
This is a lot of pressure for Craig.
Brad Gushue in unprecedented territory. Newfoundland Labrador, stand up. It's a draw, but the biggest draw of his life.
Hold on, Craig. It looks like they're going to need some help by Nichols.
A process by community here with the two sweepers. They're putting everything they have into it, digging deep, trying to stick the landing, but can they? Don't blink, folks. Don't blink. And they do it.
Oh my gosh. By a couple of inches.
That was scary. That was touch and go.
Look at the emotion. Is a curling celebration better than a snowboard celebration?
I think so, especially because you get to give hugs to your teammates. You know, that's the one thing I think that snowboarders miss a little bit. There's lots of camaraderie, but you can see that with the teammates. Also, it's wild to look back at these. The Cooey rink, you saw Ben Hebert there and stuff like that. You're cheering for everybody, but it's sad sometimes when you see people that you love not win it. I love the Gushue rink, though. They're doing a fantastic job here, as is the Jones rink. I had the ability to catch that Japan-Canada game on the women's side, and that was pretty something. I know you've probably gone in depth on it, but it's been really, really enjoyable to watch.
That was so good to rewatch those two shots, and you did a great job of that, Craig. Wow. You got to get here and move over Mike Harris, but I forgot that I always remember Jennifer's in-off. You forget the drama of that last sweep for Gushue to win, right? Because Nichols came out because Jeff Wilson had that shoulder injury. Right?
Yeah.
So you forget that, and they won it by that much. Talk about the thrill of a win or the agony of defeat.
It's funny when it's a draw, right? It's just a draw, but it's so much more than that. You know, like I can only imagine. It's like I know I can do this, but can I do this in this instance? And I think there's another parallel with snowboarding too. Is the tricks are extremely difficult, and you've done them a bunch in practice, and maybe you're having a wonderful practice, but can you do it? You know, in the 10th end on the last rock? Can you do it in the last run of the last rider? Can you come from behind? So I think that pressure is what we all watch, and at the end of the day, it makes fantastic TV.
Well,
I also want to say this: Bruce Rainnie
Yeah.
and Mike Harrison and Joe have been doing such a fantastic job. It has been so enjoyable to watch. The way that my hours have worked out is I get to go home and watch curling, and I just want to say those three have done such a fantastic job, and it's been really, really enjoyable to listen to.
What's your message in tough losses or tough times, no matter what the sport? What did you take away from all of your experience that kind of allows you to put things in perspective?
That's a great question. And I think what you do is as an athlete, you're constantly learning. From the time you start your sport, curling, snowboarding, hockey, whatever you want to do, you're constantly learning. And how do you learn? Well, you don't always win. You make mistakes. In snowboarding, you fall and you get hurt, and then you recover. And that's a lesson. You've learned that lesson. I know what it takes to get surgery and the physio that it takes and the mental preparation to get back on your snowboard. And I think when you lose at, a huge event, you learn from that. You learn what it takes. You learn what your body does in those pressure situations and how you can be better. So every time you lose, you get a little bit better. I really, truly believe that.
Yeah. It's not how you fall, but it's how you get back up after, isn't it? Yeah.
Perfectly said, Colleen. Perfectly said.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait for our championship curling match that Devin and I are working on. We're planning it.
Are we going to do a Pro-Am Invitational? Let's really blow it out of the water, hey?
On Wascana Lake.
I love it. I'm there.
Craig, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on the program. As I said, huge fan. That was a ton of fun. Let's do it again.
You're such a pro. Enjoy your night.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of it. Hopefully I get back on soon.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. We'll book you tomorrow.
Every day.
Teams have showed up.
They're showing up as we get ready, of course, for Jennifer Jones, Team Canada, looking to bounce back against the defending Olympic champions. Of course, watching that Gushue game unfold. She's a mother to young Liam, so those hours are probably still all over the place. We're going to check in if they are and how much sleep Laura Walker is getting. There's Laura and there's
my gosh, it's
Laura.
I know. He's looking for his belly button.
Oh, where's his belly button?
There it is.
Oh, look, it's right there. There's mine right there. Mine's right there. Yeah, we all have belly buttons. Oh, he's so cute.
Say hi.
How are you doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. How's the watching for you and not being here?
It's hard to watch from home, obviously. I've got a lot of practice of watching over the years, but I don't think it gets any easier, and the hours don't make it any easier when this one is up in the morning. But we just really miss him, and we're happy to be able to watch him.
How cute is he? Okay, is he 1 year now?
A year and a half, yeah.
A year and a half. Oh,
Yeah.
Our time is flying by.
I know, it's
Liam's
crazy.
life. Yeah, so cute. Is he walking now?
Basically sprinting all
Wow.
over the place. Yeah.
Awesome. Laura, what do you like? What do you like, and what do you wish would improve so far?
With the curling, I mean, it's hard to critique the best team, kind of in the world right now, I would say. They're playing really well. I just think this last game, unfortunately, the ice seemed a little bit different and seemed to catch them off guard a little bit. So hopefully they can, I'm sure they chatted about it. I don't know. Jeff is in a completely different time zone and can figure out what they need to do next time if they do face different ice conditions and a team that played really defensively against them, which I know can be frustrating as a curler. You really want to mix it up, and I think they would have loved to cruise it and give them that opportunity. So a little bit of soul searching as a team, maybe, to figure out how they can stay mentally in it when that team's playing like that against you.
Laura, do you watch a game as a dual personality thing, like, competitive curler yourself versus a wife?
I think I mostly watch it as a curler, but in my mind, but emotionally, it's impossible not to watch it as a wife. That's the emotions run much higher when normally I'd be watching a game pretty calm. I think being a curler helps me stay maybe a little calmer than some of the other family members. I kind of know that they're good and they got it. Hi. But yeah, the emotions definitely run much higher.
Have you been in contact with Jeff, or do you guys have a routine to touch base, Laura?
Yeah, we pretty much talk twice a day. When we're waking up, he's going to bed, and vice versa. So we haven't actually talked much about the curling, because the few minutes we do get, Jeff just kind of wants to watch this guy do his thing and play and chat with him. So we get to pretty much talk twice a day, and maybe once more I'll check in with him before bed. But I try to let him do his own thing and not bug him too much and make sure he can sleep and stuff like that. So.
Well, Laura, he's kind of stealing the show here again, as every time we've talked to you with him, I am trying to focus on what you're saying, but right quick, go back to the Scotties, and how was your experience there?
Yeah, it was always incredible to play at the Scotties. I have to pinch myself every time that I'm there. I wish we could have played a little bit more to our potential. We certainly didn't. And it just wasn't our week. And I wish that the world looked a little bit different. We didn't get together as a team before we left. We didn't get to do a lot of the things that we might have liked to do. Our practice was very limited, and basically our preparation was don't get COVID, unfortunately. So I loved being there. I hope that I get a chance to redeem myself again in the near future. Just wish that I wish we could have played better.
Yeah, just to that point, Laura, these last couple of years, I mean, what a time in the lives of you and Jeff, with him going to the Olympics, you being in these Scotties in the bubble, baby Liam. How do you even begin to describe what these last couple of years have been like for you and your
exhausting comes to mind. I think just both mostly mentally exhausting to just have so much uncertainty that we've had over the last couple of years. And then it seems like when we finally can play, it's all packed right in, and it's not maybe as easy as it was previously to just show up at an event and play. So
Right.
I think it's been very, very tiring and very kind of tough on the mind, tough on the heart. But at the end of the day, we've got to still play a fair bit, considering we're in the middle of a pandemic in the world. And I feel very lucky for that. But I hope that we can go back to normal soon, because for us to keep doing what we're doing the way that we're doing it, I don't know how long we can do that for. So,
wow. So true. So true. Sweden next with Nicodine for Jeff and the boys. What are you looking forward to? That's a nerve-wracking game all the time, every time, but one we always look forward to. What are you expecting?
Every game there is a tough game. I think it's easy to look at the schedule and say, we have one loss and now we're playing Sweden, and if we lose that one, our backs are against the wall and that sort of thing. But every team there is great. Every team there has earned their way to the Olympics, and I think that they know what they need to do, and I hope that they look to the last game and learn something from it, and then just go play like they can. And if they play like they can, I don't think there's a team in the world that can beat them.
Wonderful. I love that. There was a question at the bottom about if Liam sees dad or reacts to dad on TV. What's that like, Laura?
You know what? The last 5 weeks have been only seeing daddy on screens. So I think he's gotten so used to seeing his dad's face on a screen that he doesn't even compute that this is a screen for the whole world to be watching him on right now. He's just like, oh yeah, there's dad again, on the screen. How's it going? And he will, when he hears the claps on the screen, he'll clap too. And sometimes he does a little hi when he sees him, but mostly I think it's kind of sad, but he's just so used to it to see his face on a screen.
What a beautiful note at the bottom there, Laura.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Joanne. That's my cousin.
Anyhow, I'm picturing Liam showing the belly button all the time to Jeff. But he's discovered his belly button. Yeah, that's fun. Well, listen, always nice to have you on the show, Laura, and get your perspective. And I totally agree with you. These have just been the strangest times, and especially for all athletes, especially the junior kids who are trying to dream these bigger dreams, and they can't even get there from here right now. So you summed it up that you're even feeling it. So thank you. And enjoy that beautiful baby boy. Not a boy anymore. Toddler. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Liam.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for having us.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Laura.
Oh, he's grown.
Precious.
Yeah, very precious.
And Call, haven't Jeff and Laura been so sharing with Liam and their lives and everything? I think for me, I tweeted out Jennifer Jones has been texting me, and she was the first one to call when she found out I wasn't going to Beijing to be there with you. And I think it just speaks to how giving curlers have always been with their family, with the way they show up on the ice. I mean, I don't know if there's many sports where you'll find the best athletes in the world who are so gracious and giving of their time and their entire journey and family.
Absolutely. And you really get a sense of that always from Canadian teams and Canadian players, but in fact, the entire mix zone as every athlete goes through.
Right.
They are so down to earth, so thankful that we're here covering the story, and it's nice to see that there's no arrogance. It's fabulous. It's always been that kind of a sport, and I'm glad and hope that part's never lost. I'm sure it won't be.
Wonderful point.
We'll keep them in check.
We're here to hold people to account, Call.
You better be a nice person. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the lineup once again, in case you didn't catch that at the top of the show. Pivotal game early, I know, only the third game for Canada, but it's Canada versus Sweden on the women's side at 8 p.m. Eastern, right into Canada versus Sweden. Five-time world champion Nicodine against Gushue, who has world titles, Olympic title, Brier title, all the things you can win at 1 a.m. Eastern, 2:30 a.m. on the Rock.
Looking forward to that Great Britain-USA women's game, too. Tab Peterson is playing really well. Eve Muirhead is as well, but she's lost a couple of hard ones. Huge shout-out, by the way, to Lisa Wiggle. The Americans were able to bring me some of their peanut butter stash, which was this big, and I so enjoyed it. Lisa heard that the Americans helped me out, and she said, hey, I got one better. I got a whole jar. Thank you, Lisa. I might just dip the rest of my egg in it. That would go well. No, you. Oh, wait. All right, we're gonna do this again tomorrow, right? Yeah, he's speechless. All right, with that, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow on that curly show.
I want to hold on quickly. I didn't even get to share. I shared it with you and Soph before, but I'm going to be headed there, taking over your spot right there at the Ice Cube for the Paralympics to cover our wheelchair curling team. Bronze medalist 4 years ago. I am so thrilled that I'm going to be there. The big show at the Paralympics, and I can't wait to be there to cover our outstanding Canadian athletes. Call.
Woohoo! You finished the hoop jumping. You got a hoop through. You jumped through them all.
Oh boy, I
You
will.
got your green code.
Exactly.
Excellent. But
That's a wrap.
just get ready for the throat swabs here. So happy for you, though. That's great. That's
Thank you,
great.
Paul. I
You
miss
do a
you.
great job. Miss you too.
Enjoy this. Enjoy the games, curling fans. Thanks, Soph.
I'm gonna go get another egg. Thanks, Soph.